Hi, Chris Haddon here with REI 360 Show, episode number 11. I'm the co-founder of co-founder of hardmoneybankers.com and REI360.net. Here with me as always, my co-founder and business partner, Jason Balin. In addition to running those couple companies, we are also about to be published authors. Our book, The Whiteboard Experiments, Rethink Your Business, Life, and Productivity is coming out very, very soon. Here within the next couple weeks, we're gonna have book in hand. And today's topic for the show is one of the chapters from the book called Cash Flow, Windfalls, and Buckets, all about personal and company finance. Part of the reason why this has become really high on our list of what we think about every day, what we focus on, what we wanted to write about, is because for so many years we were focused on top line revenue, just growth, just marketing, just like bigger, bigger, bigger. And we had a decent attention to the bottom line and profitability and like growing assets, but not as much as we want to have and will have going into the future. You want to jump into cash flow? Sure. First things first?
Yeah, I mean, any business that you're involved in, obviously cash flow needs to be the number one thing. The number one thing, your bread and butter, whatever is paying the bills or your core business of how money's coming in. You know, no matter what type of business you're in, if you're selling a product or in our case, writing hard money loans, our core, for example of us, our core business is writing loans every day, each and every day, and we try to stay as focused as that as possible and not kind of chase the next shiny object or other things, because we know that each loan that we make, X comes in to the company.
Very predictable. It's our bread and butter.
Exactly, and you stick to that, and it's very easy as a business owner to chase other types of things, higher end products, or hey, I may work on this activity and this person did this over here and they made $100,000 on one transaction. That's equivalent to 100 or whatever 20 deals that we currently do. Let's focus on this because the payout could be so much higher. And you kind of learn that you really just got to stay focused and stay on track of what your core business is. And that core business or that core income or cash flow may even also be a W-2 job. You could have your core W-2 income and then have that confidence, have that stream coming in
Bills
regularly.
Are paid, employees are paid, like you're good to go, your personal financial situation is set.
That's right.
And then
exactly. So then that's your cash flow. That's your confidence. It gives you the ability that that's going to come in each and every month to look into other things, to get into other ventures. We like to call those other ventures as they pay out like a windfall. So a windfall is, let's say, you have a high paying W-2 job at whatever, $100,000 a year or $10,000 a month. Let's keep it simple. You have that confidence, each and every month that it's coming in, you're paying all your household bills, your family stuff, you're doing your thing. Then knowing that that's in, you can actually devote some time and energy with ease that towards a specific venture. Maybe it's you're not a full-time real estate investor, you want to flip a house. You can spend some time, you can spend some energy on that, knowing that if you completely fail and it completely just goes bad, okay, well, at least I still have my cash flow.
Yeah, you're not dependent on it. Those are bonuses, big wins.
That's right.
Yeah, having that ability once the cash flow is set to go after bigger fish is a pretty powerful thing.
Exactly, and an industry thing in real estate investing in general, real estate investing or on the mortgage side, or kind of on the mortgage side is like, if you remember when we started out, we started doing our core hard money loans. We made a few $1,000s per transaction over and over and over, and then all of a sudden these bigger transactions came in of either potentially, hey, well, here's a $20 million deal that now we know probably never would close or will close, but they're kind of like, deals that like all of a sudden you're like, oh wow, if I do this deal, I'm gonna make $200,000. That's I can do one of those a year that could potentially cover more than you make throughout the year. And you got to really just be disciplined as an investor and just stay away from those things and stick and kind of stick to your core things. And when those do come up, maybe take the risk, maybe don't take the risk, but don't let it go bankrupt if a deal like that fails. Like, you don't want to be dependent on the next deal type of thing.
You can't be dependent on it.
Exactly.
Like, that's a tough way to make a living.
And the other thing, what I think, from experience we learned about windfalls is they come to you, you don't come to them. Obviously you're always looking for opportunities, and opportunities will come, but you can't just be chasing around those windfalls. They don't work that way. It's one of those things that we do 10 or 20 hard money loans, then all of a sudden, a deal comes in, it's a JV. And it's, hey, we're making our core, a few $1,000s over and over and over and over and over. And all of a sudden a JV comes in and it's like, hey, we could flip this house and maybe make $25,000 or $30,000 or $40,000. Knowing that if we don't do it or it completely fails, nothing's changed.
Right.
But when we do it, there's a windfall that comes in, and that's one example. There's a bunch of different examples in different industries.
I would say that I would definitely agree that you can't force it, you can't make it happen. That windfall does have to come to you. What you can do is be around the right people. Be in the sphere of people who do those deals. Like just this week, we were talking with some commercial real estate guys and legit finance guys from New York who play in a different space than we do. They don't do knock out the $200,000 hard money loans every week. They do the few $1 million, probably $2 to $5 million commercial bridge loans. Like that's the world they live in. And if we want to possibly expand into that market,
sure,
the first thing to do is just spend time with them. You can't force the deal. You can't source it and close it and make it all happen right away. First things first. Let's just be around it.
That's right.
I think that's a good way to get in the arena of where a windfall could happen.
Yeah, and I got a good story related to an investor who had invested some money in our company, and he was referred from a friend of ours, and after he funded a few deals and he had some money on the street, I was really intrigued to understand that he actually just retired from the government. Him and his business partner, they both worked for the government forever. I'm not exactly sure what field they were in, but I'd be safe to say they probably made in the low hundreds, for a long period of time.
Yeah, higher up government people.
Exactly. And they saved a lot of their money, and over the years they just invested in deals. And these guys are probably in like their 60s at this point, maybe 70s. But they invested. They found opportunities. So opportunities came through them either through real estate or other ventures. They had a little bit of money to invest, and then invest again, and invest again, invest again. And these are guys that are making $100,000 a year for a long period of time, which is a lot of money, but they have they probably have a net worth of in the seven figures, millions and millions of dollars,
sure,
straight cash right now because they've been investing in deals. And it was interesting. So their government salary covered them. That was their cash flow. That was their confidence, and they know they could go out and they could just keep doing deals and making money that way.
And they probably have that federal government pension now too.
Well, that's true too. that helps out as well. So, and then that kind of leads us to the buckets side of things.
Okay.
As you kind of invest into deals and you make, it's almost like a windfall that you put in. A windfall is kind of like bonus money. You don't want to think of it as bonus money, but it kind of is. It's like, hey, I have my normal income, and then money comes in, and it's cool. I got $20,000. This is great. So what we like to potentially do is we call it like a bucket system. So you throw. It's like, okay, I got $20,000 from this deal. What am I going to do with it? All right, I'm going to throw this into the bucket. This is going to be like my investing bucket. So maybe I reinvest with this bucket. Or you say, hey, I really want to buy this car. It's going to cost me $500 a month, which is $6,000 a year, which is going to cost me this amount. I'm going to, get into this venture, or I'm going to, buy rental property. Let's say you're a real estate investor, or flipping. I want to buy rental properties, and I'm going to know that I'm going to cash flow $500 a month, and that'll pay for my car.
Yeah, a good way to think about it, or to draw it out on a whiteboard, is to match up an income stream with an expense. So just like Jason said, you want to own a couple rental properties that are going to pay for, say, your second home, your beach house.
Sure.
And just map that out. How much do you need? How much it's going to bring in? And it's a really good way to organize, a really good way to make sure everything's paid, and just to mentally deal with growth, I would say. Growth both in the income side and the expense side.
Exactly.
Because even though you don't plan on it, your expenses keep going up every year. And
yeah, it's like what our unnamed buddy said about college savings plans for our kids.
Yeah.
So
that's a good example.
So the what is it, 529 plan?
529,
so the 529 plan, whatever, you get to write off the top. Off your top line income, the first $2,500, right? So, in my kind of bucket world, the way just psychologically, I'm like, all right, cool. Well, auto debit $209 a month, get $2,500 at the end of the year.
Right.
His philosophy was, and you keep in mind, I got a 5-year-old, and he's got over $20,000 already in there just from that minimal. That just that. And his philosophy always was like, well, I can beat the market, I can do my own thing, which I'm just going to do mine separate, and I'll stroke a check when he's ready.
Yeah, he could make more than what the 529.
And no doubt he can, and he probably will. But in my head, it's like, I'd rather this darn thing just get auto debit every month, and I don't have to deal with it, knowing that it'll be set up. And yes, you got to contribute more, probably got to contribute more than, who the hell knows how much college will cost down there, probably $100,000 a year. Yeah. So $209 a month's not covering it. But that's just something to be said.
It adds up, though.
It adds up.
It gets you a lot of the way there. And I agree, just mentally and organizational, just having that box checked.
Exactly.
Like having that bucket taken
You're
care of.
doing nothing after that. Like you are setting it and forgetting it, and that is the beauty of it. Another example is how often are we like, hey, listen, we really want to hire this employer, we want to do this, or we want to add this to our business. Cool. Well, let's figure out a way to do it without just stroking a check. Let's figure out where the money's coming from. Should we, I don't know, set up this venture, or should we try to do this, or should we cut costs here?
Right.
Whatever the case is.
Yeah, great way to organize. Like we were saying, personal finance and company finance has been a big focus of ours. As you know, we're big marketing guys. We're all about growth, all about revenue, but being real tight, being black belt level on that bottom line profitability is a big focus of ours. If you are, I
got some visuals for this too.
Okay, you got some visuals. Nice.
Real money. A little bigger than real money, but yeah. So that's real money. Just going to recap what we just talked about.
Okay, let's recap it.
But I'm going to do it with this. So let's say you make $5 a day, $5 a month, whatever. Here's your $5 a month. Every month, it's just coming in consistently, right? Coming in consistently. Super happy. $5. And you're like, oh wow, here's a venture over here, right?
Right. That's your cash flow.
Here's a big venture. Should we do if you're making $5 a month, should the venture be $10, $20, or $100? It's a big venture.
I don't know, 100.
Oh, okay. So here's 100 compared to 5, which is a lot. Keep in mind, these 5s are still coming over here. 5s just keep coming in. Then you got this 100, and you start working on it, and all of a sudden, the $100 never drops. You don't get that windfall. But who cares? The 5s are still coming in, Everything's changing. But all of a sudden, you work on it. That $100 drop, right? $100 gets put into that mix. You can choose to do something or not. And then over time, you have some of these ventures. The 5s keep coming in. They keep coming in. These keep dropping. They get put into buckets. You got a car, got a house, you got a college savings plan, you got another business venture, you do whatever. And the best part about it is it's this money over here just keeps coming. So it's a mindset thing, but it's something to really think about.
For sure. Absolutely. And if you're interested in learning more, if we're talking about income streams related to real estate, check out rei360.net. Remember to ask questions on any social media platform, hashtag the REI360 show. We'll be looking for questions, and we're stacking up a couple that we'll answer in the future, even though we don't get to them every show. But thanks for checking us out, and we'll see you soon. Thanks.